Welcome to Consumer Update. I'm Kelly Lightbourne. Thanks for joining us today. Sinkholes. This is the last thing anyone who owns a home wants to hear, but unfortunately, many Florida homeowners find out that their home is indeed sitting on one. So what then? What do you do? Well, to help answer that question and many others is Johnny Bazinski of Update-RAMJACK. Welcome to the show, Johnny.
Thank you, Kelly.
So sinkholes is basically, sinkhole is a two-letter word nobody wants to hear, or four-letter words nobody wants to hear. How do people deal with that? Like, what are some of the options?
Well, there's several ways to repair a sinkhole. There's underpinning, which is where you push steel all the way down to the lime rock and actually support the home like a pier house where it's sitting on. Or the other way is to drill down and use compaction grouting, which puts a mixture of sand, fly ash, and Portland cement in the ground, and they pull that out, and that's supposed to fill the voids. So there's really two different schools of thought. Right. Okay,
so say, what's the process? We call you, does an engineer come in? How does that work?
You know, homeowner will call, if they see signs, some people, they'll call us and we'll come and look and do an inspection. Sometimes they'll just call their insurance company, and the insurance company will come out, they send an adjuster that looks at it, and then the adjuster will say, well, this does look like a sinkhole or it doesn't, and then they'll call an engineering company. They do several probes in your property yard, and they put them through a sieve, and they say this is clay, this is organics, and they basically do a soil test. And from that, there'll be voids. Sometimes they put the testing rigging and it'll just drop 10 feet.
Really?
So.
Okay, so now I hate to say this, say I have a sinkhole. What kind of products do you have to fill that? I know you mentioned a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your products.
Well, we do, for the insurance side, many times they want compaction grouting, which is where you drill in and then you hook up to a pump and you do deep compaction grouting, and you extract the steel out of the ground. And then there's other cases where they don't have a sinkhole, or they have a sinkhole and they've been cashed out, I guess is the term, by the insurance company. And if they want underpins are when we put big steel brackets under the property and we push steel down with hydraulic rams, and it pushes it all the way down to the lime rock and actually builds like a stilt home on the ground.
Oh, wow.
So
that's really great. And
then we also do helicals, which is sort of like a giant wood screw, really, and it goes into the ground. But in Tarpon Springs or Spring Hill, there's places where the lime rock's 100 feet down. Well, sometimes there's really good soils above that. So what the helical do is you spin it down into a competent soil, like a 20 below count. Something, instead of going all the way down, you can actually spin these in and lock them in and still get the house to be level. And so there's multiple products. Ramjack has 22 patented products. So.
Wow, 22 of them. So you definitely know the business. Now, what makes Update-RAMJACK different than, say, any other sinkhole company?
Well, but one of the things that, how I got into the business was I had a sinkhole, and I called some of these guys, and they came out and they, building the products themselves, and some guys wanted to push telephone poles under the ground, and there was some weird stuff. And so
Hold on. I'm stumped.
Right, like you do a pier on a dock or something. They came out, and one guy wanted to dig a hole and put a car jack in and fill it with concrete. So anyway, I looked around, and I met the guys from Ramjack because they had a powder coated product. All their stuff was engineered, and I flew out and met
And it's approved for Florida, correct?
Yes,
and
yes.
that's important.
It's actually one of the only products that the Florida Building Code gets from the National Building Code. And that comes down from the ICC, the International Code Council. So Ramjack has had their products tested and certified, and we did the largest solar field in the world in California, in the Mojave Desert, and they use Ramjack products. And they looked into which products, well, they're also into environmental, protection, whatever. So all our products are powder coated with a polymer, so that goes in the ground so they don't rust. And a lot of people in Florida are on either wells, or we don't need to be putting galvanized steel or steel rusting into the water system that we all drink from. So that's important. Products are tested, they're patented, and they're used several other countries. We're 55 offices in the United States, and so there's science behind it.
It's like, you know what you're doing.
Right, we're not just making something and grabbing scrap from Tampa scrap yard and welding it and putting it under your house and saying, yeah, it looks like Ramjack and it'll work.
But it doesn't.
Right.
It'll come back.
Right.
Now, as far as coverage, like you said, call your insurance. What if I don't have insurance? I mean, do you guys finance this? Are there some options?
Because we have a giant network, we actually have our own financing company.
Oh, that's great.
And Florida is really one of the only states that where the insurance company pays for the repair.
Okay.
In Texas and many other states, North Carolina, the homeowner just gets an equity line or will pay cash for the repairs. And sometimes you don't need to underpin the whole house. You need 3. Just your garage door doesn't open, or just your front door won't open because the foundation shifted. Sometimes you can do a lot less than having to underpin the whole house. So we do have a finance. So we finance those repairs, and for little as whatever, $139 a month, you could have your house, repaired. So
right, and safe.
Yeah, and in
that's
Florida,
a huge investment for people.
In Florida, the 10% deductible now, many times you could repair your house for less than the deductible is. Yeah.
Now, you guys also have an interesting warranty, a lifetime transferable warranty. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, what makes it unique is because, once again, we formed a dealer association many years ago, and every time we put a pier in the ground, we actually fund that. So we have a national warranty trust, and so it's backed by cash. And so what you get with a lot of these local companies where they're making their own, you get a piece of paper that says, we'll come back if it's broken.
Sure.
Well, Ramjack has a small, we actually go to, all our guys go to Ramjack University, they all get tested. So the guys in Gainesville, the guys in Jacksonville, the guys South Carolina, North Carolina.
There's accountability.
They all get trained on the same method and the same product.
That's great.
So what happens is if you call and say, I retired and moved to Costa Rica, if you call for a warranty, the national warranty would say, well, the closest guy is Ocala or Gain, whatever, and would you come out and repair this?
Right.
Well, the money's there,
warranty.
the money's there, the products are there, and then the training is there. We're all certified to train, so that's a real warranty. It's backed, it's not just a piece of paper.
Absolutely. Okay, so how do they find you? Tell me a little bit about your website. Is that the best place
our
for them to go?
website is allfloridaramjack.com, and if you just put in Google Ramjack, you'll get Ramjack Costa Rica and Panama, Canada, all the other states, but you'll eventually, you can find us by Googling that or just repair, foundation repair in Florida. So
great. Well, now we know where to find you. We got a lot of great information today. Thanks so much for coming, and we'll have more right after this short break.